Yorkie the Barbarian here. Last of the Brigantes of Brigantes. Taking you back to meet the last of Sarkorians soon. Not this episode. And we return to Golarion and Canabres, dashed by demons and cultists. And Pathfinder.
No one stands in my way.
I picked up stuff out of there, but I realised I can't sell things. Oh, I also increase the what they call it, the level, of course. I couldn't go and sell things because Anivia captured us first. Hey, wait, mind if I bend your ear about something? Anivia is outside your door, leaning casually against a shelf. So here's the first and foremost important thing. Beth gave you a crucial mission, I get that, and I know you'll get the job done. Saw you in action. But here's the rub. By sending you out on an errand, we're weakening our defences here. If they come at us while you're gone, I don't know if we'll be able to fight them off. When do you think they'll next attack? Your guess is as good as mine. Might not be here, they could attack the whole damn city. Those vermin know they've lost the upper hand, and that we're going to push back hard. If things kick off here, you should know. After the attack, some things could be changed beyond recognition. So if you've got any business that needs taken care of, you better do it soon. Well, everything seems clear so far. What else do you wish to discuss? So that rift, that damn beetle left with a scythe. Well, it cut the city in two, and it's kind of difficult to get across. My scouts tell me there's a halfway decent place to set up a crossing in Market Square. Not that any of them tried it to make sure. But if you're of a mind to get across, and I think you're going to have to eventually, you might want to give that square a once-over. Yeah, we'll do that. We're not going to offer to stay and guard the tavern. We got job to do. Thank you for your warning. See you later. Later. Watch yourself. So she wanders off. Right, we need to talk to Staunton. The dwarf resembles an abandoned citadel, one whose high, crumbling walls are still holding fast, but whose empty, lightless windows make it clear that all inside is dead. Oh, it's you. Good work back there in the great garrison, named Staunton Vane. If you've heard rumours about me, his face, which looks like it has never known anything as carefree as a smile grimaces. Just so you know, everything people say about me is true. Whatever. I've already got that you love demons. I need to talk to the elf who calls himself the Storyteller. Do you know where I can find him? Storyteller? Tom strokes his beard in thought. A strange old fellow, that one. He used to sit with me for hours, asking about all sorts of things. He never offered judgment or comfort. He just listened. At first, I wanted him and his questions as far away from me as possible. But later, I realised that talking to him did ease my burden a little. I hope he's alive and well. He's completely blind and feeble too, so if he's alone in the city, well, probably know what that means. I do know one place he might be. Look for him in the Black Wing. It's a library. Here, I'll show you where it is on the map. I don't know what use a library is to a blind elf, but he loved the place. He would sit there day and night. Right, well that's good at least. I'm not going to ask what to say about you. I've been seeing you with that bloody Minago and realising your soul's out to her. I don't want to know what people say. Camellia looks you over pensively, toying with his snake-shaped bone amulet that dangles from her pale neck. Noticing your glance, she flashes you a cold, barely there smile. Greetings. Seems for a moment that she wants to say something else, but the pause grows too long, and she slips back into cautious silence. Tell me about yourself. You don't know more about me than you already do? Why? Familiar archers are dainty brown. I talk to the spirits of this tormented land, and they guide me in battle. I'll help you fight the demons, and I swear that you can rely on me in this matter. Is that sufficient? Where did you learn to wield a rapier so well? I had good teachers, although they don't get all the credit. I'm a most diligent student. Amelia licks her parched lips. Your amulet is quite unusual. Where'd you get it? Ah, my little trinket. It's so nice of you to notice, but I assure you, this amulet is nothing but a bauble. May a lady not be drawn to beautiful, useless things. What? Many would say my wife is drawn to useless things. You're much more relaxed during combat. Your battle cries are uninhibited. She blushes slightly and lowers her eyes, so you've noticed. To be honest, I find it embarrassing, you see. Being a shaman means having spirits of battle, my ever-present companions. I know the feeling. In the heat of combat, they become rather vocal. Anyway, as much as I enjoy our delightful conversation, spirits are calling me, and I must respond. Please excuse me. Amelia turns away, watching you out of the corner of her eye. Get back here, I ain't finished with you. Speech tells me you're of noble birth. Amelia laughs a practiced musical laugh as she watches you from under the lowered eyelashes. You're most insightful, of fine quality of. Camelia's laughter ends, and unspoken words hang in the air. Nothing wrong with being noble. People are not born equal. I wouldn't have pegged you as a philosopher. Alright, talk later. August, you owe me some money. 1,000 gold for you, just as promised. You helped me get back to the surface, and I duly paid you for escorting me. August Squirm keeps his word. Now, speaking of our future cooperation, were we? August looks at you with unvarnished disapproval, his arms folded across his chest, his foot tapping impatiently. I have a job that would be perfect for someone like you. Naturally, I'll pay generously for your services. Hell do you mean, someone like me? But an adventurer, ready to sell their soul for booze? You arrogant. And then lie down drunk in the gutter? Or do you think you're somehow different, a travelling knight, perhaps of noble art, without coin to your name? August sizes you up critically, then sighs and shrugs. You seem reliable enough, I lie to me. Wouldn't say I lie. To you. And what you did, get me out of those mongrel caves. So why should I care what you do with my money once you got it? August seems like one of those people who think the entire world owes them something. I'm not going to criticise him. I mean, I could, but someone like that ain't going to listen anyway. So what does his job involve? You shall be my bodyguard. What, you're going to be my long-lost pal, are you? You see, I have good reason to return to my mansion here in Canabres. I still have, well, it doesn't matter. It's none of your business. My mansion is a breathtaking building with a large garden in the wealthy part of the city. Even before the demons attacked, every thief and fraudster in the city had tried to get inside one way or another. I shudder to imagine the state it's in now. I have little hope my guards were able to hold the mansion during the attack, and I expect that the servants fled when they saw the demons. Only Abaddon knows what's happened there since. Therefore, I would ask that you meet me at my mansion and guard me there until I complete my business. I already asked the local paladins for help. They've no desire to set foot outside this tavern. On a damn fool errand, I'm not surprised. Best make it worth my while, August. Damn cowards and traitors, that's what they are. Also, please do take Camellia with you. I trust this girl more than the rest of your gang. He's noble birth, after all. What kind of reward are we talking about? 1,000 gold. Try doubling it. Yeah, right. For that kind of money, I could hire Queen Galfia, so I doubt it somehow. 1,000 gold. Alright, we'll take it. It's something. Marvellous, most excellent. August's face relaxes, smoothing a few of the tense lines. I'll proceed to my mansion at once and wait for you there. Meanwhile, you needn't worry. I know the city like the back of my hand. But do hurry, because you want me... How much you want me to lower your reward? So you have a job. And we gained 1,000. Alright. Gemel. A strange figure towers over the bar. A huge, ungainly man with skin so milky white that his blue veins are visible even from this distance. His bald head is equal parts lumpy and pitted, and blood-filled eyes stared impassively out at you from beneath his pale brows. The glass in the albino's large, clumsy hands looks dangerously delicate, as if one twitch of those callous fingers would be enough to crush it. A gold medallion, engraved with a tankard, gleams around his neck. What will it be? Who are you? The albino slowly takes the measure up with his red eyes, and finally, with a gentle sigh, says, Gemel Hawks, vampire. You're really a vampire? Gemel gives you a long look of reproach and then grudgingly answers, no. Why bloody say it then? That medallion you're wearing, that's a sacred symbol, isn't it? Are you a cleric of Caden Caerleon? I'm a tavern keeper, best in the city, the best has been, and I pray to the best god there is. How did you end up in the Crusader city? How did anyone end up here? How did you or them? With a huge hand, the tavern keeper gestures at the ragtag group assembled in the room. The world is big, but still there isn't a place for anyone. For everyone. People who no longer have life anywhere else, they end up here. Any news in the city? The Albino looks around, there are demons everywhere and you showed up. Well, are there any places worth visiting? If you mean places that normal people stay well away from, then there are plenty, like the Pitaxian wine cellar. Gimel pauses for effect, like the name of the place alone should make you quiver in fear. It once belonged to a Pitaxian trading house. Then King Irveti came to power in Pitax and property started changing hands. Soon after, the seller's shop assistant was found in a ditch. Not all of him, mind, just his head. There you go. Numerian gangsters had taken possession of the place. They wanted to sell something stronger than wine on the streets. And they ended up on the gallows. Then King Irveti's number was up. Though now the store stands empty and unclaimed. People say that a headless ghost wanders the place at night, moaning ghoulishly. So we need to sort out a ghost, do we? After coming to the end of his story, unusually long by his standards, the tavern keeper takes a swig from his tankard. Don't ask me how he makes any noise with no head, I wasn't there. I just tell it like I heard it. What do you mean, not one for talking? He's been talking. Alright, then I gotta go. Actually, show me what you have. Thing is, I'm not the kind of person who remembers to use a potion, so... Or spell scrolls. Unless they're heals, or restores, or things that stop you being blind, etc. Because you kind of see that you need them instead of forgetting them in the heat of battle. I will keep those though. We have 12,000. Let's get those. I know that stuff around here too. Journo, who's this? A young man in well-worn travelling clothes and a simple wooden symbol of Eris still on his chest. He's efficiently cutting a linen robe into strips to use as bandage. Despite his visible exhaustion, he works with zeal, singing some tune of red braids and ripe sheaves of wheat under his breath. He raises his warm, chestnut-coloured eyes to you. Are you one of the Crusaders? Thank you for defending those of us whose talents lie off the battlefield. I'm Journo, servant of Eristil. Pleased to meet you. What are you doing? I only took my holy orders recently, so my god has only bestowed a little of his power upon me, as yet. I'm sorry to say the number of wounded fighters in this tavern is far beyond my power to heal. But there's a reason people say have faith in the gods, but look to yourself first. I may not be able to help the wounded with magic, but I can at least cut up bandages. Are you from around here? No, I was just passing through Canabres. I was sailing down that old man of ours, the Great Selin River, to a village by the name of Chili Creek. I had to land in the city on the eve of the festival. I just check what that is. And I'm ashamed to say, I decided to stay for a day to enjoy myself. But I ended up staying in the city longer than I'd bargained for. Chili Creek, where is that? A small fishing village. It's not even marked on some maps, but people do live there. What they don't have is a priest. They have no one to heal their wounds, no one to offer prayers for a good catch, no one to give their dead a dignified burial, and the world wound is a stone's throw away. I'll be setting sail for Chili Creek to serve my god and my people. Fair enough. Once we've held Canapres, I'll be going there. If by the grace of the good gods we survive this, you should come and visit me sometime. You'll find a village there on the bank of the river. Priest marks Chili Creek on your map. Aren't you a young and inexperienced cleric afraid to go to the border of the world wounds? I won't lie. I'm afraid, but what can I do? Those villagers are simple people. Every day of their short lives is spent doing hard, honest work. That's exactly the kind of life I want. Something simple, but meaningful. You should understand that half-orcs are just like humans. You don't live long either. Less than a century is all that's allotted to your kin and mine. If I had centuries ahead of me like the elves do, I might have spared some 50 years or so to travel around the world, the man says with a smile. Or maybe even 100. Why not? But I don't have time to spare, so I want to spend my short life in a place where I'm most needed. Even if it's dangerous. Especially if it's dangerous. I could use a cleric. Jenna makes a helpless gesture. Jenna still knows I'd be glad to help you. But it's no use. My spells are depleted and I have no training in potions or scrolls. See this robe? I'm cutting up the bandages. The second to last one. And just reply to my wife very quickly. I have to go. May I still watch over you? Something here. Let me go. Oh, hang on. I bought a recipe, didn't I? There we are. Spicy pastry. Born Autumn Haze, a tall, fragile-looking elf, sits in front of you, eyes closed. He is pale as a ghost, his arms wrapped in a blood-stained bandage. He spotted the bandage on his body, under his clothes, but even in such a miserable state, he managed to keep calm. Raising his eyes to meet yours, he says faintly, I am Fawn Autumn Haze, at your service. His pale lips are reddened by blood, but you see no signs of pain or fear in his eyes. Do you need help? After giving you a cold, intense look, he shakes his head. Do not trouble yourself on my behalf. A local healer tended to me. Besides, I come from a resilient, hardy people. My body will endure both the wounds and the poison delivered through them. Who are you? My name is Fawn Autumn Haze. I've come here from Keonin because I am a hunter, and all minions of evil are my quarry. I won't say any more than that, if you don't mind. We are strangers and of different races and cultures. I'd rather not tell you more than necessary. Who wounded you? A sinner and accomplice to demons. The quarry I am hunting in this inhospitable place. I'm Yorkie, you can trust me, I might be able to help you. After a brief pause, Fawn says it would be impolite to refuse such a direct and friendly offer. So who's your quarry? I was hunting a fugitive, a Descarite by the name of Kaelessa. It pains me to admit that there are heinous malefactors such as her among my noble kind. I managed to catch up with her in Canabres and I wounded her. Then demons appeared and the city was engulfed in flames. I was injured in the battle that ensued and couldn't free her soul from his service to the Dark Masters. He expresses no anger or hatred as he speaks, only compassionate sorrow. Sorry for your misfortune, I hope things will turn out differently next time. He pursed his lips. There's no need for pity. Our ancient kind is blessed with great longevity. We gain a deeper understanding of the world and other races, and we learn our lessons better than anyone. That goes for learning from our mistakes as well. I survived, which means I will be more prepared when we next meet. Can I aid you, Hunt? Vaughn covers his eyes wearily. I thank you, but this is my mission, and I'm used to facing all manner of terrors on my own. I do appreciate willingness to help. If you happen to meet Kalissa, take caution. She has turned many innocent souls to the paths of evil, and darkness has rewarded her with many gifts. Her appearance alone will tell you that. It is warped. The agate skin, the malicious stare, her blood-red eyes, his steel teeth. He's more monster now at this point. Does he look like a game? You know what, I'm not worried. He doesn't want our help, so we'll move on. Although we've got a quest to find and kill it now, have we? Well, whatever. Some loot. Surrender thy soul, Delvlin. Aid protect as well. That's a freaky thing. Got you again. How many times is that today? Take your jokes and show them, tiefling. Whoa there, easy, chief. Don't hit me. Bit of a troublemaker have we here?
Hey, Chief. Hey, Dreamboat, come over here. I want to talk to you about something. Something really important.
Quit bothering the decent people in here, Woljif, or I'll knock your teeth out.
What's it to you, Delvin Dum-Dum? You were told to guard me, and I'm not stopping you. But no one told me I had to shut my trap.
Who are you?
Woljif. Woljif Jeffdo. I deal in useful things. I can get you whatever you want. Anything. But there's just one problem.
The tiefling rattles his chains and gives you a meaningful look. What do you want from me?
I'll lay it out for you. Simple job, 30 minutes tops. We go someplace, talk to someone, and in return, whatever you want, I'll get it for you.
Buying it.
Some extra rations? No problem. Armor, weapons, scrolls, you name it. It's as good as yours. If you need my help with something, whistle and I'll be there. I'm handy enough with knives too, and even my magic know-how isn't too shabby.
What a load of guff. If you were good at magic, you wouldn't be stuck in here now, would you?
Don't you listen to him, Chief. He'd find fault with the Queen herself. I'll be useful to have in battle, and I'll sell whatever you want at a reasonable price. It's your lucky day. You won't meet another gem like me in Canabras.
Well, I'm not sure I trust you at all, Woljif, but I can't help you while you're chained up there. How can I free you?
That's easy. You know Irabeth? Feisty-looking gal, always wears armor. You can't miss her. She's the meanest fighter in the whole city. When you see her, put in a good word for me, will ya? Tell her there's this guy, Woljif, locked up for no good reason in the Defender's Army. Well, for the follies of his youth. And he really wants to get out on bail so he can keep up his good behavior and make a contribution to society. You got that? Will you do it?
I'll have a word with her, see what's going on.
I knew I could count on you. Knew it the moment I laid eyes on you.
But first, why don't you tell me why you're actually in there, and no bullshit.
Does it really matter? Don't get hung up on the past, Chief. Don't look to the future. Live in the here and now.
He was caught thieving.
I figured. What was that with your shadow, anyway? You have a dirty laugh.
And I'll tell you. And don't worry, it's not contagious.
We'll talk later. Right, just a quick one here. There's a little secret door here. I know from previous runs where I've made some progress past this. There are 3 levers. This one's useless to you. You need to take the shield off there as I've done. Then press that lever. That lever. And the revealed panel. And that will open it for you. Now, go have a word with her, Beth. Probably catch a couple of other people on the way. Oh, Nevia's moved up here, has she? See why? She was done down there. And Nevia, in her muted colours, blends almost perfectly into the background. She appears relaxed. The seemingly unfocused eyes are taking in everything around her. Her tracking and filtering potential threats. The only tell is the way she drums her fingers on the hip near her weapon sheath. She shows no sign of injuries and confidently leans on her previously broken leg. She pretends to have just noticed you, even though she watched you approach from afar. Oh, hey! See how they patched me up? Now I can run, jump, or dance a jig, if I feel like it. Have you any knowledge of suspicious place in the city I should pay attention to? There were a couple of spots I wanted to check out, but I didn't have time. There really is a den of cultists there. It would be good if you could swoop in there and bust some heads. You don't even need a search warrant. Maybe I shoot you a crooked smile. First one is the Silken Thread. It's a funny little tailor shop that doesn't take any orders and never buys any fabric. They always seem oh so busy. They're busy with something alright in there. Sewing it ain't. Second one is the alchemy shop, Topaz Solutions. And they trade in everything, not just healing potions. Judging by the ingredients they've been buying on the black market, there's something fishy about the alchemical rituals going down in that place. Why don't you tell me about yourself? He shrugs with a lazy smile. I'd be happy to, but there's kind of nothing to tell. What's so interesting about me? Where are you from? Nowhere. I was blown in by the wind and found in a cabbage patch. She stopped short, sorry. It's an old habit of mine. I don't like blabbing about my past. But you saved my skin, so I kind of owe it to you not to clown around, right? I'm from Nidal. I wouldn't wish my homeland on my worst enemy. You've heard of that place, I'm sure. Ruled by monsters that aren't alive or dead. And the official religion is the cult of Zunkothon. I grew up in a slum, like a weed between the cobblestones. I didn't have a dad, but I had lots of aunts and uncles. My mum's cronies. No prize for guessing the kind of business she was involved in. They gave me a set of lockpicks as soon as I could hold a spoon, and while other kids were picking their noses, I was picking pockets. When I was 12, the monks of the Silent Shroud came for us. Creepy guys with their mouths sewn shut. And the guards of Nidrock. Mum gave me to her friends. And we hid in a secret temple of Desna. I never saw my mum again. I lay low in the temple for the next few years, kept my head down. I washed floors, fetched water, listened to the sermons. Funny thing, after a while I started liking Desna's teachings. But as soon as I was old enough, I was out of there. I left Nidal and got as far away as I could. Quite the ragtag group you've got here, though, from nobles to street thieves. You got that right. Only the best for you. What do you do if the knights and nobles fail to save the world? The lowlives are your only hope. Take strength where you find it, I get it. How did you meet your Beth? I was bumming around Timon a while back doing this and that. Desnan temples sometimes gave me odd jobs, you know. Sometimes they need people with skills like mine. On the surface it was fine, I guess. After Nidal, the freedom of the River Kingdom should have seemed like heaven. My chance to sit back and enjoy life. But I wasn't happy. There just wasn't any joy in my new life. I was all alone. No one cared about me, and I didn't care about anybody either. I struggled to find a reason to drag myself out of bed every morning, tying a stone around my neck and jumping into the river started to look pretty appealing. One day, I was hired to follow some fellas who the local authorities suspected were Asmiran spies. I was stupid. I made a rookie mistake and they caught me. It's like my body had already decided to do what my mind had been fighting. They finally put me out of my misery. Get someone else to kill me since I didn't have the guts to do it myself. They grabbed me. I thought they'd gut me on the spot, but instead they hog-tied me and dragged me up. And just like an animal going to the slaughter, my only thought was let's get this over with. They brought me to their stinking cave, threw me on the altar, and I realized who it was. Goodhites from Nidal. They tracked me down after all those years. But I didn't care anymore. Wouldn't even have cared if they'd eaten me or whatever. We all gotta go sometime, right? So I was lying there, staring at those knives pointed at me, when fate rolled the dice and I hit the jackpot. Rebeth, there she was storming into the cave. Picture it, I'm lying on the altar with all these knife-wielding maniacs around me, and suddenly, Rebeth storms in. I thought it was Iomedae herself, fierce in her shining armor and her gleaming sword raised. She made quick work of those scumbags, chopped them up just like that. I didn't even have time to blink. She untied me, and then, Anivia's face lights up as she chuckled. She looked through the papers they had on the table, and she started swearing like a soldier, not a sailor. So much for Iomedae, huh? You end up in Canabris together. After almost becoming a human sacrifice, I knew I never wanted to leave her best side. Rescuer syndrome type thing. Hero syndrome, whatever on her, for her. Getting her nose, I fell for her instantly. I fell hard. My misery was gone, and when Erebeth showed me what was in those papers, proof that the cultists had a nest in a home city, well, I offered to help without a second thought. And Avia smiles warmly. She must have figured I couldn't wait to get my revenge on the cultists. But I didn't give a damn about them, it was her. I'd go anywhere with her, even on a crusade. Or into the jaws of a dragon. But I took to life in Canabres, like a duck to water. I used to be an outcast whenever I went. But half of the crusades are the same. After all, who'd volunteer to tangle with demons on the edge of the abyss? You gotta be either a goody two-shoes with too much honor and free time, or a misfit with no life out in the normal world with normal people. People come here to run away from their debts, their past and themselves. So I fit right in. It's like living with Erebeth. It's like living. Without her, I wouldn't be. Seriously, if I was alone, I'd definitely be gone by now. Sure, sometimes we argue, can't deny that. Sometimes we bang our fists on the table and yell so loud that the walls shake. That's all about order business. But at home, well, I'll give you an example. I've kind of always wanted to move out of the broom closet we call a house and into somewhere cozier. It ain't like they take about poverty in the Eagle Watch. But every month, somehow, most of our spare money is spent on Crusader business. Sure, I get mad about it, but Anevia makes a helpless gesture. It's part of why I love her so much. Erebeth has that thing that matters most to a person. A purpose in life. She's always got a reason for whatever she's doing. Her whole life is a crusade. I just drifted around like a leaf in the wind. Until Desna brought us together. Now she's the meaning of my life. So it really makes no difference if we live in a mansion or under a bush. Thank you for your answers. What are your responsibilities in the Eagle Watch? Anevia smiles evasively. Nothing official. Not even a night, I just hang around. Sure you want to know about the details? Catching traitors and spies and cultists is no walk in the park. It's a delicate job. You can't always do it within the letter of the law. What if we surprise some suspicious blighter with an official search? Everyone will know about it before long, starting with their cronies. Again, sneaking into people's houses at night ain't exactly legal. Crusaders can't be doing that stuff like that, can they? Well, I'm not exactly a knight, he trails off. I get it. I have to go. Alright, watch yourself. What's with this crowd over here? Indara, who are you? An imposing young Oread is surrounded by a crowd of crusaders who are hanging on to her every word. I hope this example clearly illustrates the difference between Jiska legionnaires from the last war and crusaders. The perfection of form and spirit they were imbued with during creation turned them into parts of a well-balanced war machine. Not a ragtag bunch of individuals, but a united whole. Now tell me again, why am I supposed to be impressed by your reckless assault, where everyone is fighting for their ego and for the right to beat their peers to a swift but pointless heroic sacrifice? Come on, Slapper. Some of the Crusaders grumble unhappily, but it is clear they are captivated by the woman's words. The only exception is a scraggly and dishevelled halfling monk, whose puffy black eye gives him away as a brawler and a troublemaker. He enthusiastically pushes forward and tries to engage but one of his friends swiftly jabbed him in the back with an elbow, making the poor fellow pause to catch his breath. Let's go together, shall we, and take her down. Alright. Looks like we got ourselves a student of warfare. The woman gives you a suspicious look and raises her eyebrow. Were your words meant to recognise my achievements or to start a fight the way Mendevian Crusaders usually do? What do you think, fool? One of the Crusaders angrily curls his face tightly and retorts with a burst of passion. If those gists of yours or whatever had come for us, we'd have their guts for garters. You think we've never fought a mighty adversary before? The soldier's stern facade cannot fully conceal his relish. What about his ketchup? He clearly plans to enjoy the confrontation. The Crusaders around him look upon their exotic opponent with a mixture of irritation and piqued interest. The woman chuckles before cutting off her interlocutor. I would love to see you storm a 60-foot-tall walking castle shaped like a gigantic elephant that carries siege fortifications on its back. And I'll have you know these fortifications were defended by Jiscan priest craftsmen, armed with demon-bound war machines. They used the enemies you cannot defeat as mindless weapons. Sure. The woman gives the people around her a triumphant look, and adjusts her clothes with pointed nonchalance. Her voice takes on a lecturer's tone. You should not argue with someone who happens to be the most authoritative researcher on the history of warfare 3,000 years before the foundation of Absalom. 3,000 years before the foundation? Yeah, it's lost of time, love. The woman looks at you and flashes an amused smile. The lecture is over. Do any of my esteemed listeners have questions? You're wrong to treat the Crusaders with such disdain. Allow me to explain. A debate. Oh, I'll be happy to prove the current conflict cannot hold a candle to the last war of Jiska. Very well, the last war of Jiska was waged with a significantly greater number of troops. Both sides actively relied on reinforcements from allied planes, and their strategic planning was perfected through no fewer than 7 rounds of intensive design. None of the above applies to this war of yours. Compared to the Jiska, we are but stone club-wielding kobolds. I would like to conclude my thesis with a few words of wise counsel from Dagon, an advisor of the Pharaoh of Forgotten Plagues. I doubt you'll fully comprehend the true genius of his statements, but here it is nonetheless. A gadfly sees the ox pays no heed to the gadfly, but crimson fever takes them both. The events of the past are shrouded in legend. The fate of the world is being decided here and now. That is what you fail to grasp. Teddy, standing in the middle of a dingy tavern, Indara graciously accepts. How did we roll? The chuckling of her audience. One mustn't overestimate the importance of current world events for history. Should Canabris fall, it will become yet another page in the chronicles of the Whirlwind conflict. Should it endure, we're fortunate to earn any mention at all. Monk with a black eye stifles he can look like he wants to say something, but ultimately holds himself back. It's riskier. The principles of war are always the same. Weapons, causes, and resources may change. Foundations remain immutable. Indara's eyes display frustration as she hears the audience, clearly impressed by her argument, murmuring approval. There is logic in your words. I give you that. Yes, the concept of war does not change. The degree of sophistication in the method we use to destroy our foes. The woman stops realizing her words, no matter how ostentatious she makes them, no longer have the power to captivate the audience. Indara offers a pretentious dismissal. As a scholar, I cannot deny that there is a certain truth beneath your skeptical statements. History is a complex discipline, rooted in fact and an evidentiary base that grows ever more meagre the further the described period is from the present moment. Of course, if I was to argue in bad faith the way Crusaders embellish their tales of slaying a single Brimarak by adding a dozen Baelors, for example, I could win this battle. But I am above such things, and therefore I am forced to admit that your skepticism is not entirely without merit. I'm sure you would have been able to expound on your arguments in a longer discussion. Indora nods with obvious relief. I'm glad we both understand this limitation. It's one thing to put her down, but we'll let her have an out. It's always a pleasure to face a worthy opponent, even if debate takes place in a grimy tavern. Perhaps especially because of that. Harr unbuckles a sword belt and hands you the weapon. This is a worthy blade. It will be of use not only for the strong, but also the wise. And this is where I bid you farewell. Before the end of the day, I was planning to observe how winged demons use pack tactics to drive their prey like herds of livestock. It is about time I got back to my research. The hint of a smile graces Indara's lips when she sees disappointment in the eyes of many crusaders around her. Stay safe. Alright, Irabeth. Not going to have a long conversation. I want to talk about this tiefling chained up in the Defender's Art. Tell me about him. Irabeth shrugs scornfully. Woljip is a petty thief from a gang of tieflings operating in Canabres. That's what we call them in these parts. They tried to rob a vendor of magical items recently. Unfortunately, we apprehended only one of them, and the rest managed to escape. We have nowhere else to keep him apart from the Defender's Heart. That's hardly a prison. Woljip knows it too. He's been begging us for days to let him go free, or have someone vouch for him. Doridas, you put in a good word, hasn't he? Well, yeah. I haven't done. I just want to know about him. Pepe squints at you thoughtfully, then shrugs. If you want to recruit Woljip and put him to good use, go ahead and take him off our guard's hands. Can ill afford to let the soldiers spend their days watching over a middling thief. I hope the tiefling proves useful. Should you take him with you? Alright, then let's go. I'll get him out of there. We'll catch up with other people some other time. Meantime, Woljip, you're with us.
Well, Chief, what do you got for me?
I talked to Irabeth and I've decided to make you part of my troop. We'll see how it goes.
You must be a smooth talker. Come on, Delvin, get these bracelets of yours off me. I'm going free.
You're sure to regret this. This tiefling will fleece you for everything you've got. Mark my words.
You're a bitter little man,
Yeah,
Delvin.
apparently runs if he
Petty
does.
and mean. You can't even be happy for me, can you? I pity you. I'll leave you alone with your sad little soul. So long. And now, Chief, straight down to business. You see, I'm one of those guys that people around here call thieflings. We just call ourselves the family. After we knocked over that shop and I got stuck here in the Defender's Heart, a little bird told me that big sister Kerismei wanted to see me. That she had some questions to ask me. You following? Now, she won't be asking me questions like, Woljip, how'd you manage to get out of this one? Or, Woljip, you're so thin, didn't they feed you? No, something serious has gone down, and I just know they want to try to pin something on me. I can feel it in my tail. So, I knew right away that I couldn't go alone. You turned up just in time, Chief. You don't need to do anything when we get there. Just stand behind me and look mean, and I'll handle the rest. Somehow. Let's go. I'll show you the way.
All right, let's get out of here. All right, let's have a word with him before we go. Well, Jeff gives you a friendly smile. Hey, Chief, want to talk? I want to know more about you. How much is more? Are your family's tieflings too? My family. It's an interesting story, actually. But I don't tell it to just anyone. Yeah, well, we saved you from jail, so get on with it. My father and mother had a bakery. Their life was great, but the gods never blessed them with any children. One day, my mother went to the river to wash some clothes and saw a basket floating downstream. Inside the basket was a baby, adorable and chubby, and fast asleep. It was yours truly. In my hand was a note spritzed with expensive perfume that said, "Take care of my little angel." Well, you're definitely a bullshit artist. My mother brought me home, and she and my father realized right away that I was heaven sent. They raised me as their own. When I was turned 15, my mother showed me my baby blanket. It was embroidered with a coat of arms. of an unknown kingdom, all in gold thread. Ever since then, I've been looking for my real parents. It's not easy, travelling takes money. So if you have a few gold coins, I'll pay you back. Yeah, let's not do this. That doesn't sound very believable. How about the truth? Seriously, usually everyone just believes everything I say. People love stories like that. Yeah, well, some people are idiots. Try talking to sensible ones. You know, a cute baby, a basket, a blanket, what's not to love? They look at me differently, as if I'm worth more just because the sheets I spit upon might have had a fancy coat of arms on them. Waldriff laughs bitterly. If I was really a prince, I wouldn't be sitting around here. I can tell you that much. I'd have already gone to take what was rightfully mine, and then I'd come back with an army, so I could watch the guards and merchants who pushed me around all my life bow and scrape before me. But that's not going to happen. Want to hear the real story? Get on with it. The true story is boring. My family is human, both my father and my mother. They used to live in a village nearby. I forget the name. When my ma had me, my old man got so mad he almost killed her. Pinned her to the wall and started asking questions like why his son had horns and a tail. Well, my ma told him that her mother, my grandma, used to fool around with a demon. Well, Staunton, was she that kind of person? When he heard this, Daddy Dearest got drunk, trashed the house and then took off. I don't remember any of this, of course. My grandma told me. I was about 3 years old when my mother brought me to Canaveras and left me with my grandma. She said to her, "You and your demon have ruined my life. Now you can handle him." Then she left. I haven't seen her or my dad since. She did leave a blanket, though. That part was true. My grandma burned it because it was infested with lice. Wasn't even good enough to use as a rag. You think after that my grandmother saw the light? I felt rightly ashamed and kissed my horns. I wish. Waldriff grins nastily, his yellow eyes flashing. People used to give her trouble for fooling around with a demon. She wasn't welcome anywhere. She got angry. Normal kids get bedtime stories, see? But the only tales I got told were how my dad was worthless, my ma was a slut, and I was a demon spawn that no one cared about. She only kept me so I could help around the house and steal things she needed. That's the truth. Yeah, I believe that one. Now you're a tiefling. How'd that happen? Waldriff grins happily. I already was a tiefling, and life made me a thief. I've been in this business since I was a kid. My grandma used to say, if you don't work, you don't eat. And she gave me, as an apprentice to Igor, a tiefling neighbour of ours. He was a cunning old geezer. He knew how to take a purse off somebody's belt, how to cut open bags undetected, even do some magic. I used to climb through basement windows and open doors. From the inside, while I was still small enough, and when I grew and stopped fitting through windows, I decided I was done with my education. I repaid my grandma for everything she'd done for me, which was absolutely nothing. Why would I feed her if she wasn't bringing me any money? Well, I guess you learned from the best, didn't you? Or the worst. You don't work, you don't eat, so I took off. I got bored of my teacher too. But when I as much as hinted at leaving, said I owed him for my education, so I just nodded, and then I joined the Owlbears, the gang that ran our district. I told them that Igor was working their territory. I don't know what happened to him, but I stayed with the Owlbears. Then their leader started giving me the cold shoulder. I did steal from him, but never that much. So I had to rat them out to the guards. Then I joined the Golden Hands. It's a good time, rich pickings. I would have stayed with the Golden Hands, but the Northmen promised me a bigger cut if I told them where the Golden Hands kept their loot. I'm no fool, of course, so I told them. After that, I only had one option, to join the Northmen. And then the family came. At first, no one took them seriously, calling them tieflings and all that. But I felt it right away. They had power behind them. And they had more money. I'm always on the winner's side, Chief. That's why I joined the tieflings. And right on time, some thugs came from the capital and made the Northmen leave. The ones who survived are in the family now too. Felt like I got to take a bigger watch over you than Wendy. Tell me about the tieflings. Alright, I won't tell you everything, mind, but I can tell you a little. The tieflings are Mendevian thieves. The gang was started in Mendev's capital by someone else or other. And soon after, they'd spread all over Golarion. They're also called a family. You know why? Because little tieflings are easy to spot. Wherever we go, guards always hassle us asking, "Are you lost or something on head?" We usually say we're just visiting family. And if they say, "Oh yeah, who?" you give them the name of a local tiefling, who confirms everything even if he's never seen you before in his life. That's why we're all brothers and sisters. There are rules, who does what, who gets what cut. I won't say it's a lot, but they make it worth your while. They'll even heal you if you take an arrow to the knee. But the biggest no-no is this. You don't steal from the family. If you don't contribute to the shared pot, you'll get the cold shoulder. You won't be treated like family no more. And then everyone will hear that you went to visit some relatives who have a farm someplace. My best guess? The farm is in some underground well beneath Canabres, where they breed grave worms. Sister Kerismei, our boss, looked the other way more often. I'd really be able to spread my wings. Nobody should live under constant threat of punishment. You could kill Kerismei and take her place. Woljif laughs. Now there's an idea. Nice try, Chief, but I'm no killer. Never have been. Assassins are expensive. You know, they bumped up the prices last year. I asked a friend of mine why he charged so much, and he says to me, "I've learned to see the true value of my work. I read in a book that whatever you think you're worth is what you'll earn." Can you believe it? I didn't even know the mug could read. So I can't just have Kerismei taken care of. Too much trouble, and no one will like it. People respect her, mean as she is. You think of Canapres? It used to be such a hole. Then the Crusaders and refugees came here, and things started looking up. Although it depends who you ask, I suppose. Witchers better stay clear of here because Amadeus followers are ferocious, especially Holrun Shapok. Yeah, he's an idiot. The local Inquisitor, he's tough, old goat. I didn't see it myself. The serving girl at the tavern told me that her second cousin's son, and his third wife, is a paladin. And he said that Holrun takes an unsheathed sword with him even to the privy. And when he sleeps, he puts it under the pillow next to him. And when he's in his cups, he strokes the blade and whispers sweetly to it. You are my one true friend. You are the only one I can rely on. I bet it's giving us a hard time too. As much as look at some nice little bauble. And before you can think of taking it, before your fingers even twitch, she's coming for you. With her nostrils flaring and her fangs glinting. Scary woman. But even she's better than Sister Kerismei, our boss here in Canabres. By our, I mean the Thiefling's boss. If you get caught by her at Beth and it's all out in the open, you go to the prison or you end up as Wormtooth. If you step on Kerismei's toes, poof, you're gone just like that. No one ever sees you again. All you hear is, he went to the family farm, even though he's never had a family. Or a farm. I'm not going to ask him about demon blood. That's just prejudice. Your shadow looks strange. What kind of magic is that? Ladies and gentlemen, roll up, no dark magic, no fraud. A trick without any deception. Ta-da! It doesn't do anything, it just looks scary. I remember when I was little, an old beggar showed me and my friends how to make a shadow puppet. You put your hands together in front of the light and it makes a shadow of a deer, or a dog, or a dove on the wall. I tried so hard I wanted to make the best shadow, and I did. Just happened. Woljif chuckles sadly. Funnily, you know, that's the last time I had any real friends. They tried to stone me later, screaming at me, calling me a demon. Tiefling is always a demon to these wimps. Even the lowest ranking drunken gnome thinks he's better than me. Just because he hasn't got horns or a tail. The poorest beggar in the filthiest gutter thinks he's better than me. Most people would never show their shadow again after that first time. But I don't care. If stones start flying again, I'll just run. I'm used to it by now. I like it. It's formidable. Woljif seems pleased. What about the blue fire? That's my favourite part. And it doesn't burn at all. I had a coin for every time I've caught a beating for my little show here. I've already been proposing to Galfrey. But still, I don't want to give up on something so beautiful. You know, let's ask about something else. Actually, let's go. Let's take care of your business. Well, that's a big golem. And there are bats out here. Commander, look what we've got here. You too, Matt. Whatever possessed you to steal the gem golem from the Tower of Estrod Museum. We didn't steal nothing, Commander. We saw some looters dragging it down the street. We recaptured it. That shiny fella belonged to the treasury. He alone is worth more than a castle. Well, there you go. Gordon, see to it that no one lays so much as a finger on this golem or plucks out. Okay. Well, that was a bit quick, but never mind. Right, out we go. That's a nice short sword. You could have a small shield too. Off to the tiefling's hideout. Check out this fallen horse. Cheese, butter, rainbow quartz, and razor sharp claw. Cooking ingredients and reagents. As she says to Kerismei. The basement is dark and dank. You are immediately struck by hostility of the gathered tieflings. 5 of them are kneeling along the wall, separate from the rest. The tall woman, who had been cleaning her fingernails with the tip of a knife, greets you with narrowed eyes. Brother Woljif, you got my message then? Sorry I couldn't swing by sooner, dear Kerismei. Dear Sister Kerismei. It was just one thing after another. First I was in shackles, next, well, no, I was still in shackles. And I was being watched, and then the chief got me out, and I came here straight away. I knew you'd be waiting on me. Enough talking, else we'll be here all night. So, we had a clear plan. We were going to wait for nightfall, slip into the shop, grab the goods and leave. Even if the neighbours called the guard, there was no time to get away. But what happened? That bitch Irabeth showed up almost right away. She knew we'd been there. Someone betrayed us. And I have a good idea who. What do you have to say about that? Make it quick. Do you think Woljif knows the name of the traitor? I bet it was him, weren't you? Kerismei turns away. He speaks. I thought Woljif only brought you. So he could have someone to hide behind if things went south. Yes, he knows the name of the traitor. Every gang that Brother Woljif has been part of has been very quickly come to an end. Their hideout location was passed to the guards, or their competitors found out where they could ambush them. Woljif is the only one who comes away smelling of roses. Think about it. You'll come out to the same conclusion. The prince is burning. Why are you squabbling here instead of fleeing the city? It made pause, purses her lips. I'd be glad to leave like the rest of my brothers and sisters. But in the family, there's nothing worse than betrayal, and it's something we do not forgive. We don't forgive anyone who lets traitors off the hook either. If I don't find the rat my superiors, let's just say I'll wish I was burning in Canabres. I want to keep living, so I'm going to take a chance until I find out who the traitor is. No one is leaving. Well, Jip, why don't you tell us your side? What happened? What's there to tell? About a week ago, Sister Kerismei and got 6 of us together in this very basement. Me and those 5 over there, I mean. Well, jerks his head toward the 5 tieflings kneeling by the wall. She rounds us up and she says we've got a score. Ancient trees and wonders. The one place no one's ever been able to hit. The place that's guarded by a golem, but now a powerful scroll that would knock the golem out just happened to come into our possession. Along with a tip-off that the shop owner would be gone on a particular night. You really are stupid, aren't you, Kerismei? Can't you spot an obvious setup from the start? All 6 of us know a bit of magic, and we know that any enchanted junk will sell for a pretty penny, so we're in. And the most important thing was that none of us would be hanging around the shop ahead of the job. No one casing the place, or calling attention to ourselves. Yeah, you're an idiot, Kerismei. This job was top secret. All true so far, go on. We did everything right with the locks and the golem. I picked the lock. I remember it clear as day. Sister Dalna was on the lookout, Brother Meldrun had the scroll. Dorothy, Tavy and Varney brought the sacks. We covered the windows and lit the torches. I remember scooping up rings and tossing them in a sack, and one right expensive one rolled away from me and crawled under a table after it. The next thing I know, Beth was there. Everybody scampered. But I was still under the table. Not my finest moments. I was going to wait it out, but then those blockheads were dragging me out by my tail and put me in shackles. They took all my rings off me. About 20,000 worth. Sure. And to add insult to injury, I never even found the last one. In the end, I got hunted for nothing. Busted for nothing. So they caught you, poor thing, stripped you of your loot, and you didn't even manage to stash anything. Kerismei. He's pointedly polishing a knife. Where's the moon of the abyss, Brother Walgie? The moon of the abyss. It was an amulet you sitting on a little cushion in the window of Ancient Trees and Wonders. Sterling silver, sparkled like a star. Fine piece of work. On one side there was a half moon. You know, a crescent, a waning moon. In the middle there was a fine crystal, like it was eclipsing the moon. Old man Feldman was so proud of that object. He used to say, I'll never sell it. The jewel of my collection, Walgie sighed heavily. I used to go there to see what kinds of treasures there were in the world. There's nothing else to look at in Canabres. People used to claim it was a powerful thing, but who's to say? You ever stole a thing like that, you'd have the guards on you in the second you tried to fence it. Everybody knew that you were always hanging around Ancient Trees and Wonders, ruling of the moon of the abyss. Did you think you could swipe it in all the commotion and keep it for yourself? Did you hope that we'd all be locked up? And you'd get off scot-free. And with a fancy trinket to boot. Don't take me for a mug, Walgie. I see right through you. Why would Rebecca arrest her own informant? Sure, if she did it in front of you to cover, but for a week? Took the words right out of my mouth. It doesn't make any sense. If I was a rat, I'd have kissed her on the hand. And been long gone by now. You know me, sister. I'm a cautious fella, not an idiot. Why would I go against the family? So the fish in the cellar can have a nice Walgie-sized dinner. The moon of the abyss is a pretty bauble to be sure, but it's just an amulet. It ain't worth dying over. You knew Erebet's people would protect you. You knew you could pin the moon going missing on them. And now you've come here with backup. You know exactly what I was going to say to you. Only problem is no one's returned the amulet to Fileman. You're going to give Erebet a cut, is that it? Have you seen her? Do you think she'd take a cut of anything I offered her? She can't be bought. Like fields, heralds of Amade, all rolled into one. It's the truth, says Sealer. You'll find some knights who'll take bribes, I'm sorry to say, but in a better bed isn't one of them. Go on, Woljif. Whole sorry story, Woljif crosses his arms and looks in front of some family this turned out to be. Just a name in the end. In a real family, people take each other at their word. You don't throw around accusations. I didn't take the moon in the abyss. I'm going to do with it. You can't sell it to Crusaders. It's a special item. You can't wear it. It'll get nicked. It's pretty to look at, sure, but it ain't that pretty. If it's that important to you, says Kerismei, I'll find it, and I'll drag the traitor here by his horns, just so you don't end up at the bottom of the cellar. Do you know what you're going to owe me after that? An apology. Right here, in front of everyone. You're going to apologise loud and clear so everyone hears it. You'll say, sorry, Woljif, you're a good guy and I was wrong about you. The one thing with this game is sometimes there's a lot of reading. Fine, you're one of my people, which is why I am going to give you some time. But if you run, Brother Woljif, the family will get you wherever you go. Yeah, yada, yada. Got away with words, Sister Kerismei. A way that almost made me wet myself, but a way nonetheless. We'll find the real traitor. Let's go. Right, we need to go talk to Annabeth. See what she knows. Also, I see some stuff around here.
I lead. You follow.
That looks like stuff too. Downstairs. Ask about what actually happened, shall we? Annabeth rubs her red and tired eyes. Any success? There's a traitor I'm trying to track down. Who's your informant among the thieflings? Annabeth arches her eyebrows in surprise. Kerismei is threatened by a demon horde and you have enough time to help out thieves. Annabeth sighs. I don't like this, but I hope you know what you're doing. I'll tell you everything I know. I did not see my informant's face. He slipped out of a dark alley, handed me a note, and disappeared. Annabeth hesitates as she tries to remember. He had a cloak with a hood masking his face. The horns, the long horns, didn't fit under it. There should be a guardian golem in Ancientries and Wonders by the shop they tried to rob. The owner gave us the construct's word just in case. The golem itself was destroyed, but the head seems to be intact. So you can interrogate the thing and find out what it saw. The code word is Hand of Irori. The shop's owner must have escaped. There's a chance that you'll get lucky with the golem. Alright, then we're out of here for now. Long horns. That don't sound much like Woljif, really. Have you got shorter curling ones? Oh, more stuff. Mostly just junk. That's fine. Right, Ancientries and Wonders, here we come.
Onwards!
No, what is that?
Full drink. Right.
Pay attention!
Polished oak shells once showcased the magic rings and amulets. Yeah, well, everything's broken now, so we don't need to worry about that. The destroyed golem? That looks like a head. Formerly well-appointed shop now looks in a sorry state. It's been completely ransacked, lying in the corner next to the scorched walls are the soot-covered shards of a clay golem's head. The golem's eyes glow in the gloom. Master, Codeword, Hanniwari. Codeword, correct. The golem's eyes grow brighter, awaiting orders. I don't care who created him. Tell me about any suspicious people who came in the shop in the last week. The golem is silent for a moment. 56 individuals enter the shop. Said suspicious ones, not everyone. Human, female, old. No male, old. Human. We'll be reeling off customers till nightfall. We need to ask it in a different way. Were any of them tieflings? Golem is silent a while. Tieflings 3. Tiefling male, middle-aged. Tiefling male, young. Tiefling female, young. Tell me about the young one. Tiefling male, medium height, short horns. Curling backwards. Medium length tail. Eye colour yellow. Hair colour black. Facial observation, annoyed master. Horns, hair, tail, that sounds like me, but it's not possible. I know what the security is like here. I didn't come in near the place. I give you my word, Chief. No special observation. Subject was unremarkable. Yeah, that's you, Wilger. There, see, it can't have been me. Describe the middle-aged tiefling. Tiefling male, medium height, long horns. Medium length tail. Eye colour pale blue. Skin colour dark. Special observations, red hair. And female? Tiefling female, above average height, hair long, pale. Tail not observed, long horns, so it could be either of those. Eye colour blue, special observation, scar on nose, ball trick with gold stitching. I don't know that one. A new arrival most like. Gold stitching, eh? Wouldn't mind getting to know her. Alright, enough. Where's your master? Captain Fruliatros. My master is in his hiding place. Revealing the location of the place is prohibited. Prohibited. He likely holed himself up in the basement when the commotion started. The entrance should be around here somewhere. So where's the basement, Golem? Basement is below me. I guard the basement. Leaving my post is prohibited. Alright, that's everything I need. Let's get this moved. Got a chest over here. And more stuff here. Got a voice going on.
I can hear your footsteps. Pull me out. Hello?
Right, you. Oh, Knowledge Arcana, that's going to be you, innit?
Something wrong.
Battles await.
Hello? Is anyone there? Please? Get me out of here!
Free at last. I thought I'd be flattened like a pancake under that rubble. Much obliged. Damn, I'm not in any pain, but my head is still foggy for some reason. What's with all the hubbub in the city? The name's Finian. I'm a Pathfinder. If there's anything I can do to help, I will.
You're a Pathfinder?
That's right, Finian Dismar, Pathfinder and Crusader. I roam around the world wound wherever my tasks lead me. Scouting mostly, but this last while I've just been hanging around in Canabras, waiting until I'm needed again. I'm bored out of my mind, but at least this shop makes for better lodging than some inn.
What I meant was, what are you?
What's that supposed to mean? I just told you. You want to know where I hail from, is that it? Well, I'm from around here, actually. We Kelots of the Star Eye clan fled when the world wound troubles began. But I couldn't stand by while the demons wreaked havoc, so I came back. Or did you mean to ask about my weapon of choice? Well, my best weapon is every weapon.
What
I'm a
are
skilled
you?
and capable fellow, if I do say so myself. I can swing a sword and poke with a spear, but what I am best at is communing with the spirits. They call folks like me Phantom Blades.
What the hell's a Phantom Blade?
It's like a spiritualist, but with a twist. It means that some spirit took a liking to me at some point, and it can turn into whatever weapon I need. Handy, eh? I don't need any whetstones or enchantments. Doesn't take up space either. Although, to be fair, it's not a barrel of laughs. The spirits that bestow this kind of power don't come from happy places, and they're not exactly bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. They usually appear after great battles that leave few survivors.
The city's under attack by demons.
Wait, what? The last thing I saw was some thieves breaking in here. And then the guards came, everyone was running around. After that, it's a bit of a blur. Right when things got intense, they dropped the cabinet on me. I couldn't even help the owner. I was just lying under the shelves like a dimwit until you came along. If there are demons in Canabras, we must do something about it.
We're going
The
to.
city needs every blade it can get. Hey, do you mind taking me with you? I don't think I can handle this alone. And besides, the more the merrier.
Well, if you can be useful. How'd you end up in the shop anyway?
I've been waiting here so long I don't even remember anymore. Just sitting and waiting for any word from the Pathfinders, but it looks like everyone has forgotten about me. The shop owner is an old friend of the Pathfinders, so I've taken up residence here.
Alright, I'll take you with me.
I swear you won't regret it. I can do all sorts of things. Is there anything your party is missing? A sword, a spear, a bow? Just say the word.
You can become a light mage, can you? Cold iron goes such enhancement +1. Yes. Hail to the adventurous. You know, I've never regretted following. You've only just started. Everyone seems to revolve around you like beavers in a mill wheel. I'll have a lot to write in my report for Pathfinder Society. Although thinking about it, it's been a while since I sent them any reports. I want to talk to you. Never mind. I'll talk to you later. We've got a job on right now.
I hope you appreciate this.
Not truly atroce. The elderly gnome, so portly as to be nearly spherical, is curled up in a corner of a basement, shaking. Oh, there's bandit scavengers. Judge it, or you'll pay for your insults with your life. The gnome hands scrabble around the floor, seemingly in search of something to hurl at you. The eagle watcher probably caught up with the bandits by now, and you won't get off lightly either. Be sure of that. The gnome notices Woljif and his rounded face turns scarlet. You? Woljif, the dirty little sneak thief. You've been sniffing around my shop for years, finally worked up the courage to rob me, did you? Get out of here. You and your pals have taken everything already, I'm sure. The gnome seems to settle slightly. My name's Fialma Fruliatros. I was the owner of this shop, but I'm not sure I can claim to be the owner of anything now. I hope there's at least something left of it. Oh, come off, it's in Woljif. The shop's fine. It's a bit ransacked, maybe, but nothing a bit of spit and polish can't fix. He's probably been here, so let me ask him. Tell me about the tieflings that visited Ancientries and Wonders lately. Why should I tell you anything about my customers? You're not from the City Guard or the Eagle Watch. Chief, if he keeps digging in his heels, just say the word. Talking or else. The gnome shifts into a defiant stance, his hands on his hips. Or else what? The worst already happened. The whole city's picked over. My shop feels like I'm ruined. But go ahead, kill me before my creditors come knocking. I'm helping the Eagle Watch, you fool. It's in your interest, tell us everything. Alright, Woljif, take over. Don't like the shadow, eh? Persuade him. I ain't even gonna try. I'm just gonna let him have a little chat. Woljif erupts in blue flame and a shadow of a winged demon with claws goes behind him. There's a devourer demon from the depth of the abyss. Battleman recoils in horror, covering his head with his hands. I'll tell you everything, yes. I really did kick that pup. But I didn't know it going flying halfway across the yard. What the hell? The blue flame and the shadow vanish. Pup, what pup? Tieflings. Tell us about the tieflings. Tell me about the red-haired tiefling. Hellman false thinking. A red-haired tiefling, I suppose, yes. There was one who came in, spent a lot of time looking around. The person of modest means, I could tell by his clothes, but he asked me to show him an Asimar-made chainmail. He certainly couldn't afford it. That's when I suspected that something was off. I checked everything after he left, but nothing was missing, and that put my mind at ease. Can't remember what he looked like. I'm not very observant, are you? I didn't get a good look at his face. All I remember is he was wrapped in a green cloak like it was freezing, but that's all I have. That's it. With that description, we'll surely sniff him out. Come on, Chief. Back to Kerismei we go. So have a good, long shufti of my brothers and put all the clues together. Something tells me our traitor isn't going to wriggle out of this one. Tell me about the woman. She's also got long horns. Elman scratched his chin. A tiefling woman? Ah, yes, I remember now. A noble lady, unlike the tiefling ruffians round here. She purchased magical equipment for the crusade. Probably she's come back. Only all tieflings were like her. I'd be laughing all the way to the bank. Alright. You can tell me about Woljip, but I ain't listening. Let's go. We know you hate Woljip. We know he's suspicious. We know he's a thief. What you gonna say? Up we go. Back to Kerismei. Let's see which of the 5 against the walls match one of those 2 descriptions. Enemies to fight, not a problem.
Head on!
Don't look like any. I guess we're leaving. Guess they took one look at us and ran away. Alright, Kerismei. Well, are you going to tell me who the traitor is? The name and the moon of the abyss they stole? I don't need anything else. Look at them. The tieflings are tense and ready to search for their weapons. The only redheads are Melrune and Doppy. Asking tieflings of any Doppy and Melrune. We know it's Doppy or Melrune so far. Doppy, Melrune and Taby have straight horns. Well, we know it can't be Taby, so it's got to be Doppy or Melrune. And although they could change it, I'm assuming they're stuck with the same clothes, so it'd be Melrune. You'll pay for this, Woziel, and Heptimera will get you in the end. I guess we got him. And I guess he got his. Let him take him away for questioning. Kerismei looks weary, but her earlier tension has clearly lifted. He confessed. Someone connected to the cult of Baphomet ordered him to steal the moon of the abyss. And the best idea they could come up with was to drag us into it. He got the scroll to take care of the golem. He betrayed us to Erebeth, so he could swipe the amulet in the chaos. He thought we'd get nicked, and he'd slink off to meet up with his customer. Got the moon of the abyss. Let me take a look at it one more time. My whole life I've dreamed of holding it in my hands, even if for a second. He said when he got to the window display, the moon was gone. He's lying, of course. He had time to hand the moon off to the person who ordered it. It was gone, wasn't it? I bet you bloody did take it, didn't you? Bloody cultists. I really don't give a toss. I'm just glad we got to the bottom of this. What are you going to do now? Clear out of this place. The sooner the better. It is dying. I don't want to die here with it. This city would already have died if not for people who stood to defend it with their weapons in their hands. Go defend it. I'm not stopping you. It's your city, but we've always been outsiders here. How would we fight for it now? Can I join the family? That's all you want. You can have your pick of non-tiefling gangs. You've no need to tread on our territory. It's for tieflings only. Alright, then I gotta go. I don't care what you do to the traitor. Good decision. I don't plan to hang along long either. Kerismei turns to leave. Sister? Woljip nervously bites his lip. His cheeks are flushed and his tail is swishing through the air. You forgot something. What now? You should be happy to be alive. An apology. You promised to apologize to me. Loudly in front of everyone. We're all alone now. But I still want to hear it. Well? That. Kerismei shrugs indifferently. So, Sorry, I suppose, for being wrong about you this time. Don't think that just because you didn't act like a jerk this one time, it cancels out the rest of your record. I know all about you. Till next time, Wolchif. That was the most pathetic apology. That wasn't even an apology. Kerismei's eyes hardened, but then she says, "Alright, fine. I'm sorry, Wolchif. Let's part on good terms. And now apologise to me as well. When you falsely accused my ally, you accused me too. Don't push it." Kerismei turns to leave, but she hesitates and adds, "Good luck to the both of you." Alright, let's see if there's anything around here that we can grab. Wolchif watches go, his tail relaxing. Better than nothing. Listen, Chief. When you've got a spare minute, come and see me. I have something I want to discuss with you. But for now, let's get out of here. I don't like sitting around below ground when the building above is ready to crash down.
I lead. You follow.
What about this? Oops. Ah, trap. Not for much
I
longer.
am helpful, am I not?
And there's a spectral door there.
Onwards!
That is useless. And that's junk. But we can sell junk. So, back to the tavern and have a word with Wolchif. Right, Wolchif, what did you want to say?
Psst, look, Chief, I got something to show you. Ta-da!
He makes a
Real
whole
beaut,
gesture,
isn't it?
and an amulet on a gold chain appears in his hand. Silver amulet in the shape of waiting moon, darkness, blah blah blah. So you did betray the tieflings.
That cuts me deep, Chief. You and I saw who the traitor was. It's just that when we robbed the shop, I went in first and took what I wanted. Nothing wrong with that. Although, of course, I did think about hiding the moon and just taking myself off somewhere warm when all this blows over. But only because I want to see the world. Is it a crime to want to travel? Huh? Is that what counts for treachery these days?
I'm not going to answer that because you've obviously had it the whole time. Remind me, why is this item so important?
Do you really not remember it? Oh, I thought you would appreciate it. It's from the old man Fileman, the owner of the Ancient Trees and Wonders shop. It's the pride of his collection. The Moon of the Abyss, an amulet with a rare crystal crafted by an unknown maker. When I think of how much this thing is worth, it makes my head spin.
You've been... I'm not going to ask where you hid it because I don't want to know. Why didn't you give the amulet to Kerismei right away?
What? So she would slay me right away, you mean? You saw how antsy she was over Canabras and all
That
this.
is a point.
So I did it. I took the Moon of the Abyss. But I didn't go to Erebeth. And Big Sister wouldn't hear my explanations. She doesn't have the time. I even thought I'd hide the moon somewhere, and then when all the noise had died down, I'd go get it and make a run for it. I'm sick of the thieflings. And they never appreciated me anyway.
Yeah, she's not really smart anyway, I've noticed that. Why did you steal it though?
Why, he asks? It's expensive, pretty. And you know, it's my amulet, actually. Not meaning I stole it, but I mean, this is my inheritance. My grandma and I were poor. All we had was a jewelry box with the moon in it. She used to store it under the floor in the basement, and she'd take it out sometimes just to look at it. She was always nicer when she had a few drinks in her, so I could ask her things then. One time I asked where she got it from, and she said it was from a demon. You know, the demon who was my grandfather. He said the moon was to be passed down. My ma was good for nothing and nobody, so that's why Grandma decided to keep the amulet for me. She used to say it would be mine when I grew up, but she couldn't wait until I grew up. She squandered my inheritance when she became a drunk. Took it to Fileman's shop and pawned it. He gave her some coppers for it, and she didn't even haggle. Just grabbed them and ran back to the tavern before last orders. I've been going to Fileman's to look at the moon ever since I was a kid. He chased me away, but I just kept going back, so eventually he gave up. He didn't skimp on security. The place was like a fortress, so he wasn't worried about a street rat like me pinching anything. Even when I got more skilled, I couldn't get any closer to it. One day, I had no one to go with. Another day, there were only oafs who'd never stolen anything more than a church donation box. But when Kerismei had planned everything out, I realized I had a chance to get the moon and move away from here. Maybe to Garand. I hear it's warmer there. I've stayed with the family for too long.
Well, it's your business, not mine. I believe that you believe what you've been told.
Allies,
Whether
friends,
it's true or
it's
not, I don't
all a
know.
load of crap. Life brings us together, forces us to make plans, do whatever it is we do, but it's a safe bet that this ain't forever. I might be a traitor, but the others, are they any better than me? Melround had a good reputation in the family. He was trusted, and you see what happened. If you abide by the law, anyone can rob you. So you need to break the law first when no one expects it, and run before you go soft and get too attached.
Yeah, I'm definitely have to keep you right where I can see you.
Whatever you think, I owe you. I'm not just a thief. I have my own business selling things. Thanks to you, I'm still in the family. And we have the black market sewn up in this city. It's a good way to sell valuable. So, if you need anything, a scroll or something, just say the word. I have a little portal to our people in Nerosian. You put a note
Could
there,
be
and
useful.
you get what you need. I can't get you anything big, but what they do have is all high quality. Nothing's too good for you, Chief. What's mine is yours. For a price, of course.
Show me what you got. 439. We don't need Josella's orders. Don't need the diary. Can sell the book. Don't need the yellowed letter. What is that? Alluring charisma. I could probably use that. No. And wisdom. But you could use it.
This doesn't suit me.
Good. Right then. That's where we'll end. Join us next time when we chat to another couple of people here. And maybe try and make for the Blackwing. See you then.